Oh, hey.
There we go.
There we go.
Golly, it's bright.
Out here in Burlington.
I forgot my hat.
You need a hat.
Stuff happens.
Yeah.
Out here today with Nate.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're standing here beside some kind of busy bees. And Nate's like, how nice are your bees? And I'm like, oh, we have nice bees, you know. And we have, it's dearth. There's no hope. We're gonna catch some stings today, but that's how it goes. So, hey guys, Ashby with Ashby Farms. Nate's with Hive IQ.
Hive IQ, baby.
He's out of Maryland.
Maryland.
And I'm gonna I'll let Nate take it over.
I'll do it from here.
There you go.
So I'm with Hive IQ, come out of Maryland, have a bit of a background in commercial sideliner and research beekeeping. So I'm just on a cross-country road trip at the moment, talking to people about what a condensing hive is, how it insulates from the heat, from the cold, and the bees are just generally happier in an environment that more resembles what they would naturally live in, like a tree cavity or something. So I told Ashby I'll come out here with no expectations, just help you pull honey, and then we get to have great conversations like this and share it with you all. So yeah, that's my pitch.
So Nate, you said you work for a big commercial outfit. Like, what do you call big? For some people at home are like, that ain't nothing.
A lot of people go towards the ratio. So one beekeeper for 550 to 750 hives is big, and I've seen that number dwarfed in Canada, and then I've seen smaller operations run closer to one every 450, kind of like you're doing.
Yeah, like I'm 1 in 500.
Right.
I mean, and I say one, I got to give Corey credit too. She definitely helps out. Phoebe helps us out from time to time. So couldn't do it without a lot of good friends and folks to come volunteer. So Nate and I actually met. We were at dinner back at Nobby back in January.
Yep.
And then Phoebe organized a dinner for a couple of us at the State Beekeepers Summer Conference, which just happened down in Pinehurst. And that's North Carolina, if you're watching at home. Had our, that's kind of center of the state. And so all of a sudden at dinner, Nate pops up again, and yeah, it's like right place, right time. And he asked what I was doing this week, and I said, yeah, come on, I can always use the help. So
Yeah.
I'm in a unique spot today that I can't bring my big truck in. So what we've got here, we've got a line of colonies here. There's quite a few boxes of honey. The Jeep will fit through this small opening, and we're using a trailer, but of course honey's really heavy. So probably what we're gonna have to do today is we're gonna use fume boards. Once we get about half this honey on the trailer, we're gonna run it home. It's only about 15 minutes away, and then we'll come back over and get the other half, weight being the issue. It's really convenient to be able to say, like a lot of our yards, we just take our big truck, the F350, and I can put all the honey on there, 4,000 pounds, it doesn't matter. The truck kind of laughs at that weight. But for those of you who don't know, let's talk more about Nate's product real quick. Sure. Before we get started. So Hive IQ is, and tell me if I'm butchering this,
Yeah,
but
go for it.
it's a plastic foam filled box, and 1.5 inches, is that right?
1 9/16.
Okay, 1 9/16 foam. And a good friend of mine, Phil was at dinner with us the other night. Phil Haynes, he's a great breeder, part of our co-op here in North Carolina. And Phil's got 2 of these that he bought at Nobby. And Phil's an Englishman, and he says, "Oh my gosh, you should see! I've never ever in my life seen 10 frames where the queen just lays it side to side." And if Phil's making a big deal about something, like, I shut up and listen. Phil's got 15 years of beekeeping experience, and he is probably my number one resource in helping me work through a lot of our logistics and planning, and is the mathing, is the decisions we're making in our small operations making us money or losing us money, that kind of thing. Logistics to producing a lot of nukes like we do in queens, and then shifting in the honey production. And unlike, say, Bob Benny, he's a common person. Bob Benny has a team, whereas it's just Phil and his wife. It's just me and Corey. We have to approach things differently because with a team, you can run around and make 100 nukes in an afternoon. whereas it might take me 2 days to make up 100 nukes, and we have to graft the queens accordingly, and there's a lot of timing. So Phil always helps me out. So if Phil makes a big deal about something, I shut up and listen. And Phil, when I went down to see Phil a month ago or so, he was just bragging about Hive IQ and how impressed. And one of the things that Nate was just telling me on the way over here is it actually insulates against heat.
Sure.
It's 97 degrees today. We got a heat index of like 110. For instance, yesterday, the Burlington, North Carolina Police Department, they set up over at our Target, because it's like a big asphalt, pad, and they showed that the ambient temperature on the pad yesterday afternoon was 107, and they had a thermometer inside of the car, and it was 175 degrees inside the car. So you got to think, these bees, just in this field right here, all this greenery, the field heat stays on. So you got to think our bees are getting really hot. So how does Hive IQ insulate against heat? Like, work me through that.
Yeah. So it is a polymer base, but it's a high density expanded polystyrene. It's completely inert. It doesn't have any off gassing. So it was actually it's made in Australia at the moment, and that's where they sort of tested this in some of the hottest environments that we have on our planet. So much the same way you might have a styrofoam cooler to prevent your drinks from getting hotter quicker, the insulation, that thick 40 millimeter inch and 9/16 walls, that's going to prevent the sun from essentially heating up that box as quickly.
Okay.
So there's a large barrier between it, and the equivalent would be to have a tree trunk that's 6 inches wide. So, and that's what Langstraw said is, here's my design, but if you're going to really simulate a tree cavity, it needs to be a lot wider. So what we found is it insulates against the heat and it insulates against the cold. The idea being that it's just not as affected by the external temperature. So the internal temperature rides nice and even. And because the lid is more insulated, it handles moisture really well. There's almost no moisture in that hive. It never reaches dew point. If it does, it happens on the sidewalls and then down safer at the bottom of the cluster. But that's when we're talking overwintering. So with the wooden hive, you're meant to ventilate. And this is just a different approach to keeping bees.
It's actually my next question. So your hives, they're super tight.
Yeah, condensing hive, everything's locked up, and the bees love it.
See, guys, as opposed to the expert carpenter that I am, by that I mean check out my half-inch holes in the lids. Yeah. My equipment tends to has really ventilated. It's just due to being a not so good carpenter. I argue that a lot of ventilation is good with our woodenware. It's all wax dipped, and so that condensation just rolls right off. Let me ask you this too about Hive IQ stuff, and then we're going to get started pulling honey. But overwintered then, so they're warmer. Do they burn through resources more?
That's a really good question. So,
like, what does research show?
The research shows they overwinter on less honey. And that's because when you have heater bees, in order to heat up, they have to consume resources. So I'm from Maryland, and then New England, East Coast area, they would say you need 60 to 90 pounds of honey to get through winter.
Right.
And the reality is, if they're not having to heat up because they're conserving the heat that they do generate, they're just actually going through less honey. So you can overwinter on fewer stores. Okay.
Well, at the smaller scale, I can say I've actually put eyes on Phil's. I don't have any of these yet, but I was just thoroughly impressed with the idea and the concept. I'm always looking for new stuff. I don't know if it's practical for us to go for 500 at that scale, but a lot of our YouTube folks at home, you guys might have 2 or 10 hives or whatever. At a smaller scale of 10 hives, I'm advocating for this product. The math is mathing. It makes sense to me. So without further ado, we're using fume boards today. We're going to get suited up, gloved up, and get started. We'll just kind of show you what we're doing here. All right, so what we're doing here now is Nate, explain to the people at home what a fume board does.
Oh, sure. So fume board just has a It's safe, but it's a funky smell. So the bees evacuates the bees off the comb very passively. There's no banging around. So sun heats up this black material there, warms this up. This is what is this, honeybee gone?
Honeybee gone, yeah.
I think it's an almond oil extract. Honey robber uses butyric acid, which is a really strong funky smell. It smells like
Vomit.
the worst BO you've ever, if you've ever gone into like a convenience store after a day of pulling honey, having sprayed honey robber, the one that has butyric acid, yeah. It's gnarly. This one, I believe, is an almond oil,
yeah.
And it's actually not that bad, but that's why I wear these gloves instead of leather mittens, because I've had bad experiences with getting that stuff on my hands. Yep.
So one thing we're doing here, so yeah, we just throw a lid back on that. Yeah. So that runs all the bees out, or most of them at least, and then, yep, there you go. Give it a nice little bang. Get the rest of them out. And as we stack them up here on the trailer, we put a tarp down on the bottom, and I put a tarp down on the top, and that just keeps robber bees from starting robbing. With that said, I'm gonna go help Boss Man, and Nate's gonna be mad at me if I let him do all the work, and we're gonna pull some honey here, and I'll show you what it looks after a while. All right, so made our way down through the yard here. I don't like putting a lot of weight on a single axle trailer, so we've got 9, 8, 27. They're not all full, so you can see the robbing starting. So by the time we get out of here, they'll so it's 10 a.m. You a little warm?
A little hot.
Nate and I are glistening.
That's right. Getting ready for the photo shoot.
Right. It's a little warm. So we'll take this batch to the house, come back for about that many more. And then it's going to be really hot by the time we get out of here. So around lunch. Stay tuned. All right, so we got back home. We ended up pulling 18, 19 more boxes. As you can see, the shirts are sticking to us. We're a little wet.
Yeah.
So how'd we do?
I think we did pretty good.
Okay, you
how'd I do? You're the
shoot.
I'm coming out in your
I was
yard.
just happy. I'm fat and happy. I was happy to have some help.
Yard pulled.
Yeah, man.
2 trips, about 2 hours total.
That's right.
Not bad at all.
It is scorching out here already. I mean, I bet I can wring out my shirt. But again, man, thanks for all your help.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, dude. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's good for Nate to get to come into town. And if you're interested in Hive IQ, reach out. Nate, it's Nate.
Nathan at HiveIQ.com.
There you go.
It's Nate Reid. I'll come pull honey for you too. So just hit me up.
And it's Nathan.
That's right.
Okay, there you have it. So if you're interested in their product, reach out. We're gonna get this honey offloaded into the honey house, and appreciate you guys watching. As always, guys, if you don't mind, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please like the video. Please send me a comment of some sort, and please subscribe. That helps me get found in the YouTube algorithm, and helps our content get out to more beekeepers. So we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again. Bye.